Welcome back, guys. This is Coach K, going to give you a little synopsis of what we did during these 45 minutes for the campers. All right. Again, the major focus this year was to focus on fitness and health rather than just sports and just having fun and games. All right. So, with this 45-minute segment, I wanted to make sure that the major components were pretty much covered, especially for an age group of 6 up to about 14 years of age. The first segment was stretching, which was probably our longest segment from 10 to 15 minutes. Because of this pandemic, COVID-19, I wanted to make sure that the kids were really focusing on their flexibility and understand the importance of it. The next segment was lower body strength training, all right, since that made like a solid transition from the stretching. Then I gave the kids 2 minutes break. Then we come back and do upper body training, focus on some major components, but just good foundational movement. And then we finished off our last segment with core training, primarily your abdominals, your lower back, and your hip flexors, hip extensors. All right, so I want to give you a little taste of what we did. I'm right here. As you can see, I'm not in a big, grandiose room. Nice, small room. And we're going to be using just some basic supplies here that the kids were offered the first day of camp. All right? Yeah, look at all of it right here. So, no further ado, let's get into it. Typically, we start off with the yoga block. So I'll try to show you a couple different moves from a linear view as well as a lateral view. All right? So, basically now, you see me using handles. Now, I told the kids the handles are just an optional piece. All right? You can easily do this on the floor. You don't need to be handles, but I like that, like the handles. And you can buy something like this at a CVS, a Target, or on Amazon. So this right here is a good hip flexor stretch, nice and smooth. And then basically, as we go through, we will show transitions for the kids, nice and smooth through. So I'm just gonna give you a little taste so you can kind of see where we're going. Then we normally opened up, getting some good thoracic stretching. Come back in. Make sure you do both sides. And I usually focus on the stretching again to really get good hip movement. And then at the last part, we will come up, focus on some stability, and really focus on the shoulders and the body, getting good thoracic flexibility. Have good stability, turn to the left, back to the middle, turn to the right, back to the middle, back, forward, really good pull, and done. Now, I showed you that leg from a linear view. I'm gonna work on the other leg from a lateral view. So I'm gonna put the right leg on now. It's going here, just so you can see two different perspectives. The first part again is to really focus on now. I'm stretching my hip extensors on one leg, my hip flexors on the other leg. So that's important. So nice and smooth. Now again, you don't need the handles. You can do this on the floor. Most of the time the kids were doing this to really loosen up. So touching our toes. I tell you what, during this pandemic, my flexibility, I'm almost a full hand past my toes now. Just how doing all these different stretches. Now open up, nice and smooth, getting good thoracic mobility here. Straight here, nice. And the last segment, which a lot of kids had trouble, if they were able to grab it with one hand, they couldn't grab it with two, and really focus on squeezing the shoulder blades together and back, head up, turn to the left, middle, turn to right, middle, behind, forward, middle, and get one last pull and release. Okay, so that's what we did usually for the first segment. Then we would transition. Put these over to the side. Grab one of the flat bands that the kids use. We get in what's called a hurdle stretch, which is basically externally rotating the hip. Okay? So try to have good symmetry. Some of the kids, of course, the stability was not there. Put this around the foot. And typically, as this was close, I have them grab the strap with their right hand, grab with the left hand. So, and it doesn't have to be a band. What actually works the best is a belt, a long belt. A lot of times I use a karate or taekwondo belt that has a little less give, but for these purposes, what the kids were offered, we just use the bands. So we stretch here, use your elbow to press against the knee, and then basically after we get done, we'll come here and we'll fall back, get a good stretch, and come back in, try to keep your leg on the ground. Each time, try to get a little further. We stretch here about 5 to 10 seconds, come back, smooth, good stretch. We come back and try to go further. So each time, we probably go about 3 or 4 times doing that movement. Now, after we do that, I would take this away. We would get in a reverse hurdle stretch, or what's called internal rotation. Fall back and see if we can actually put both of our knees on the ground. So you can relax the head as you do this. Your focus nice and smooth. After you hold it for a few seconds, we normally come forward. I open the hip a little further, get in good position, all right? Again, you can see why they call this a hurdle stretch. So imagine going over a hurdle and then going forward. Stretch with both hands. Then for a few seconds, we're here. We go back and we rotate. So basically you're getting good quad stretch right here. Okay. As we come back forward, it turns more into a hamstring stretch. And again, trying to stay equal, make sure you don't rotate too much. Here, nice and smooth. Now, usually during a class, we'll go through 3 or 4 times, but just for review, we're just doing it a couple times. All right, now, we come in, we do the same exact thing. This is my bad hip, so I'm not able to go as far. So again, I hold it here, and I try to stretch. All right, see how far I'm able to get. Now, some of the kids would ask, well, why do you need the band? You don't, but what I was noticing, the kids falling over. So this helps you get in solid alignment and keeps you nice and aligned. So again, as you fall back, keep your leg grounded, get a nice long stretch. Come forward, really reach. Come back. Forward again. Each time you're hoping to get a little further and further with it. Then we take it away. Same thing as the other side. We internally rotate the hip, or what's called a reverse hurdle stretch. Then we go back down. Try to get the foot to be straight up and down. Okay, as you go, relax the foot here. Get both elbows in the ground. Then move forward. Try to get the head to the knee. Like I said, my flexibility is really improved. Nice. Elbows, relax. See if you can get both hands. Right. Okay. So, by making your hips internally, externally rotate, we're really trying to help with that core alignment. And you'll see why that's so important as we get to the core work a little bit later. Now, usually we did one more series of stretches, which I'll show you. And again, so the key is to make sure with the open leg or V stretch to be able to be on your sits bones. So nice and upright posture. Now, what you're able to do if you got good forward flexion in this is as we go forward, try to see if your elbows, and I always say, to check to see if your elbows are able to hit the ground. Can you be in a nice calm state with your feet upright? Be nice and calm and like, could you hold a conversation? All right? Are your legs relaxed as you do it? So we're here. So we reach forward, see if we can touch our inner feet. Nice deep breaths. Come back. Nice calm position. Now, as we lift up, shoulders back, nice and smooth. Again, turn your head to the left, back middle. Turn your head to the right, back middle. Going behind, middle, middle. Tilt your head to the left. Turn your head to the right. Tilt your head back to the left and back to neutral. Now watch this again. I'm going to tilt, not turn. Tilt my head to my right. Turn my neck to the left, upward. Come back down and back up. Now, not to miss is that what I was doing, my hands behind, just to give you a lateral view. So I have my hands here behind. You don't want to have a slouchy posture, and what happens to kids, they can't touch their toes because they're slouchy posture. So use your hands here, come upright, shoulders back, almost like you're lifted. So your spine is nice and erect. This is what I was doing as, I was doing the exercise. So to center it back, so as we come back here, elbows on the floor, we come here, we lift here, we bring it together, we get in a good butterfly position. Now how you can actually really pull from inner thigh, and again, this is my weakness, I'm a little bit off the ground here, you can turn your foot, just by turning your foot like here, teasing, you're actually giving an extra stretch in the muscle. So I'm just taking my foot and I'm going here, 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 back out. So where we were in the inside, I'm going to now grab the outside of my feet, have my feet nice and upright. Take a deep breath. One more time. And I'm going to bring my feet back in. Try to relax, get on the bony part of your butt, your buttocks. And as we go back and forth, it's a stretch. And that was pretty much our stretch segment. So that's the end of component 1. All right. At this point, I usually allow the kids to grab some water, get something to drink as we transition to the next exercise. But I'll get right to it. Again, all the kids were issued some type of stretch band. For the most groups, they got 1 or 2 bands. This band is a little more flimsier, which means it has a little less resistance than the other. For the squats, and again, it was relative towards the experience or the strength of the camper. For the exercise, let's show something different. I'll show you from 2 different views, from the front view and the side view. You step on the band. All right, so as you step on the band, make sure you have good posture. And then either we went down, get depth, back, squeeze, down, back, down. So again, the beginning is not, make the focus not too difficult because the primary audience was 6 years of age to 13, 14. Just to show you a side view, you see, they have to hold on to the handles. Now again, depending on how tall the camper is, you can actually grab it a little bit lower. I'm over 6 feet tall, so I use the inch. So you can go down, get good depth, down. As you come up, put your shoulders back, chest out. Now we added certain things to the exercise too, where you can do bicep curls, you can do lateral raise, frontal raise. You can do all those different things as you're doing a squat. How many repetitions? Usually somewhere around 15 to 20 reps. All right. Number 2 exercise for the leg component. We usually use a yoga block. And again, all the campers will offer that. Now, for some of you, if you have small weights at the home, we always will start, you don't need weights, nice and smooth right here. Now, as a former runner, it's always good, or if you just even walking, have good contrast of opposite. The arm is the aggressive. The opposite arm is aggressive for the working leg. Okay. So in this case, the working leg is the right one, even though the left one is doing most movement. Okay. So as you come up, stabilize. Go down, pause. Come up, stabilize. Come down, pause. Up, stabilize. And you can see, really work with your leg to see if you're in good alignment. So my arm is back here, I come up. So we're actually doing a reverse lunge. That's what this is called. A reverse lunge with stability training. So stability is here. Now, even though the left leg is the one moving, the right one, the right glute and hamstring is what's working. Nice and smooth. All right, there's enough there. We're gonna slide it over. Same thing, it's always good to get your stability with the knee down. So we come up, stabilize, go down, up, stabilize. Good. Now, even though the right leg is moving, it's the left one that's doing the actual, what's called metabolic cost. How many reps you do depends on your experience. Normally I work the campers to at least 12 to 15 reps. Okay. So again, you don't need to do that with weights. It's not a problem. Now, next thing we would do, each camper was issued some type of band, loop band, to do a lot of variety of different things. I'll show you some things. So you can put it around the knees or ankles. I'm gonna do the ankles. Now, what you could do is a variety. You can use the yoga block. We can lean here, point your toe, and do what's called abduction. Nice and smooth. This is good for the hip strength, hip flexibility. All right, now, your hips are a ball and socket joint. So it does a lot of different things. It has a lot of axis rotation. So you can internally rotate and go back. Work on the gluteus medius and minimus. You can go straight back. So think of the clock. Okay, so we used to have to do 3 o'clock. Internally rotate, 4 o'clock. Pause. Straight back, 6 o'clock. Nice and smooth. So again, it varied how many repetitions we could do, but you can do sets of 15, sets of 20. Now, always make a readjustment. Now, I can turn around, but for the camera's sake, I'll stay here. 3 o'clock. All right. Internally rotate. This would be more of like 7 or 8 o'clock. Internally rotating the hip. Pause. Say I did around 10 reps. And then straight back. The key is to really focus on contracting your glute. That's most important. All right. So again, we did a lot of those. Now what we could do is we can transition, just for mistakes, we can get a lighter band, get onto the floor here, put this around my ankles, and we can do some of the same movements. Make sure the band is nice and flat. We can elevate the bottom legs a little bit of tension, and then work side abduction, nice and smooth. Again, by doing this, works the whole length of the leg. Say we do about 15 reps. Pause. Now I'm going to go back and up on an angle. Back and up on an angle. Nice and smooth. And again, you really will feel it back here. I know a lot of the campers love doing this. Really felt it. Let's say I did a bunch there. Now I'm gonna go straight back. Actually, we would do a circle. Okay, so, well, let me show you straight back. You can do that there, but we would do, since this is a ball and socket joint, we want to work circumduction, which is a round circular motion. Okay. I'll repeat a few reps for the others, just the other side, so you get an idea. All right, so again, straight up, toes pointed, nice and smooth. Pause. Back and up on an angle.